Prostituted myself, to men to give me fellatio for money.
So, here we go.
My name's Ricky Lewis. I'm a homeless junkie from Covington, Kentucky. I grew up in Covington. Pretty normal childhood. I thought, it was kind of crazy in Covington. There was the black side and then the white side. The east side was blacks and the west side was whites, and it seemed like normal stuff to me, anyways. A lot of drugs, a lot of crack selling. In the '90s, and a lot of people sold crack. People were getting rich off of selling crack, and there were a lot of crackheads everywhere. And I didn't ever think I would turn out to be a junkie at all. I just figured, I'd do something big and, maybe hit rich or, just be a good person. But childhood was pretty normal, like I said, like I thought anyways, but I got my ass whooped a lot. I got, whoopings. My mom would come looking for me out, on the streets, because we would run away a lot. Just because, mom, she was a single mom, and she had to, sometimes, get us under control, or we would be fucking out there freaking out and stuff. But, getting in trouble and going to juvenile, and I started robbing houses, and, smoking weed was how I started out, and everybody pretty much smoked weed back then. Then it went from smoking weed to doing Klonopins or Xanaxes, or then it went to cocaine, or maybe putting a little bit of crack in a joint or something. It was, it started to get pretty fastly out of control, like, because I started robbing houses for smoking weed, to get weed, and it just, got to the point to where I was like, I'm ready to do more things and try new drugs and ecstasy and, Special K and things like that, party drugs, and it, I wound up catching felonies and juvenile felonies. I was in juvenile and caught felonies. I got sent to a foster home for the felony, the last felony that I did, and just stealing a bike or something stupid from school. But and then once I turned into an adult and hit 18, I started going to jail, and adult jail, and still robbing people's houses, and I started doing heroin when I was like 19 or 20. No, first it was Oxycontins. I started doing Oxycontins when I was like 19, 20. I tried one, and it was crazy. It was crazy good. I didn't think it would be that good. I mean, when I snorted it, and it was an Oxycontin 10. I snorted it, and it was really good. And then I tried one and went to work one day, and the day flew by. 8 hours just seemed like nothing. And, I had a pretty hard job. It was physically demanding, and it made the day fly by, man. And it just was easy on my back, my knees. It didn't hurt at all to, bust my ass and, speed through the day. And then I started doing heroin when I called my guy, and he said that he didn't have no 80s, and they didn't have no oxys. So he said, but I got boy, and I was like, what the hell's boy, He's like, dog. I was like, what's dog? He said, it's heroin. He's like, you'll like it. It's just like oxys, you know. I was like, it's, you know, because I had injured myself at work is what it was. And I said, well, you know, will it get rid of the pain? And he said, yeah. So I took off on that, and it was cheaper. You got a lot more for 20 bucks. I mean, 20 bucks was like an Oxy 80 or probably an Oxy 80 and a half, you know. So it lasted a while, and I just got all the way strung out. I wound up losing my job. It was over something, domestic violence or something like that, and the police came to my work and arrested me, and so, you know, and then I didn't have, and then I started like working at restaurants and stuff like that because I couldn't get a decent job. I wound up catching that felony for breaking in the house, or no, it was it was breaking in the house, and I couldn't get a decent job, you know, with the felony on my record. I couldn't. I mean, I went to Arby's and they didn't even want to hire me because I had a felony on my record. So, and then, you know, it's just really hard because, excuse me, child support. You know, they're very demanding on what they want and how much they want, and it was just really hard to make ends meet. So I just kept getting high, man. I just kept getting high, and you know, trying not to think about the negative. And I mean, that's pretty much what I've been doing for the past 3 years, is almost 4, getting high and trying not to think about the negative consequences that I have waiting for me once I sober up, if I sober up, if I ever make it back. Yeah.
How old are you now?
I'm 40 years old.
You know, you said, if I sober up and the negative consequences, you know, do you think that you can get sober?
Man, I mean, I've been sober before, quite a few times. But it's always been like forced, and except for the one time, you know, I went to the Christian rehab, and you know, that wasn't really forced. It was like by my own choice. But yeah, I've sobered up before, and you know, I never really stayed sober long any of the times except for the last time when I went to the Christian rehab. And I stayed sober for 4 years, and you know, I found God, and I did great. I mean, I did great. I went to college, and I was running the sober living house for, you know, like a year and a half or something, going to Cincinnati State and for welding technology, and I don't know what it was, man. And just one day I had an essay due, and I don't know what it was. It just, you know, it was like my addiction just started calling to me again. It was like, I don't know, it was just crazy. Just out of nowhere, like, I wanted to go get some type of speed, so I wound up doing some Adderall. Bought some Adderall off a friend, and by the end of the week, I wound up buying his whole script of Adderall. I was going into welding class all weirded out, and because, you know, we would be welding and stuff, and we'd do like test pieces, or, you know, just, you know, practicing on a certain, you know, type of weld or whatever. And, you know, everybody would go into the booths and you know, talk about the welds with each other and stuff. And I was all weirded out. I didn't want to talk to nobody, and it was really affecting my schoolwork, for sure. But and then once he ran out of the Adderall, I started doing meth. You know, I had done meth a couple of times. It was always really good. I liked it a lot the first time I did it. And I shot it, and all the hair on my arms and legs and anywhere I had hair, it all stood on end, you know. I was like, damn, that was really good, you know. So I kind of got back into that, and the first time when I first did it, I wound up going to jail after that, and I did like 8 months or something like that, and so I didn't really mess with it for a little while, but I dabbled in it a couple of times, but then I when I relapsed 4 years ago, I started doing ice, and then the ice, I had a porn addiction. Like when you do ice, it's a really sexual drug. And I didn't have a girlfriend or anything, and I would never want to be with anybody while I'm in my active addiction on anything really. After being with my kids' moms when I was using, and it always ruined our relationships, or I'd drag them into the negativity and pull the kids in with me, and I just don't want to do that ever again. So yeah, I didn't have any girlfriend or anything at the time. I had broke up with me and my girlfriend before that. My previous girlfriend, we had broken up, and that's right after that I wound up relapsing. But and I lost my job. I hit somebody with a baseball bat and came behind the desk and said he was going to kill me and stuff, and he took the bat from me because I didn't want to hit the dude with the bat. I mean, I told him he had to leave and stuff, but he didn't want to leave, and I got the bat out, and I figured, because I was healthy at the time, I was running half marathons and going to the gym probably 5 times a week, 3 to 5 times a week, working out and stuff. So I was pretty decent size, and he didn't care, man. He was drunk, and he came behind there and he grabbed the bat from me. And I was like, what just happened? Like this dude just grabbed the bat from me. Like, why did I even pull the bat out? I didn't want to hit him though, because I had taken this job to help people, but so when he said he was going to kill me, he's like, bitch, he said I could have just killed you. And something clicked in my head, and I was like, killed me, I got kids, and I was like, forget that, man. And I grabbed the bat from him. I was like, you come back here again and I'm cracking you with this bat, and he said, what? And he ran around the desk, and so he got closer, and I swung at him, I hit him in the arm because I didn't want to kill the guy, still, like, even though he said he could have killed me, I didn't want to kill him. I didn't even really want to hurt him, but so I hit him in the arm, and he just kept coming, man. So I swung again, and it hit him in the head, and it sounded like you hit a baseball. It was a metal bat, and he crumbled to the ground. He couldn't really speak or anything. He was trying to tell me he was going to kill me still, and he couldn't even get the words out. It was scary. I was like, I'm not, I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to kill you. I wish you wouldn't have did that, but you see what you made me do, and I wound up getting fired over that. But the police came and they watched the tape and everything like that, because he was trying to act like I was the instigator of it, which it's, I guess, the police were the ones that were able to say, it was self-defense, which they did. They watched the tape and they said it was self-defense. So, but yeah, so I wound up losing my job over that, and everything just got bad for me, real dark, and I started getting high and dropped out of college. I probably had 11 months left, if that. Doing the minimum credits, I was doing 7 credit hours a semester or whatever, but I was working and running the sober living house, and I got kicked out of the sober living house. You know, they tried to call me in for a UA, and I wasn't gonna do it. I wasn't gonna come in. So they wound up, you know, breaking in my room, and somebody stole a bunch of my stuff. Somebody stole my credit cards, and somebody racked up $1,800 on my personal. They got a personal loan in my name, and I had actually went back to that sober living house and found my clothes in one of the rooms there that had gotten stolen when they broke in my room or whatever. But so yeah, I wound up. Once I dropped out, you know, everything got really crazy. All I had was a car as a place to go, and well, I started staying with my kid's grandma and my kid's mom. She stayed there as well, and you know, I wound up getting kicked out of there for, you know, just being all twacked out on ice and doing dumb things and embarrassing myself in front of family members. And so I went to the streets of Cincinnati, and I started getting high on the streets of Cincinnati, and all I did was ice. I didn't want to do anything else because I'd been a heroin addict before, and it had gotten really, really bad. I mean, to the point to where I puked so much that my throat swelled shut and I couldn't breathe for like a minute and a half in the King County jail. I thought I was going to die in there, and you know, that's how I stayed away from heroin I haven't done heroin since. I mean, I've done this fentanyl stuff, but I started doing that when I was on the streets here, and I would just do rinses, man. I would find baggies in this hallway, and I would just put a little bit of water in there, and you know, I'd shoot the rinse up, and it would get me high as, you know, I would hope to get. I mean, and I've even fell out a couple of times off of doing rinses, and so I got high off of rinses for like 2 years. You know, I was mostly doing meth, but you know, when I didn't have meth or money to get meth, I would do rinses of fentanyl, or it would be free. It was really crazy how it was always just free, you know, until I had an actual addiction for it, and then it was never free. It's never been really free. I mean, you find people that give you testers and stuff like that, but yeah, it got to the point to where I started having to have fentanyl. It was just kind of like heroin addiction, but not as bad, I don't think, on the physical side. Because like I said, I puked so much on heroin, it was ridiculous. That's all I would do is just lay around and puke for like 3 days. But the fentanyl, it hasn't been like that. But I mean, I've done a lot of crazy stuff to get drugs. Prostituted myself, you know, to men. You know, they would give me fellatio for money, or for actually just for meth. And it was only just one person really, but you know, I started doing that, and I would just get ice, you know, trade for ice, and it just got so crazy to where I had to have it. And like I was getting sick off of ice. It was crazy to me. I never knew that you could get sick off of ice. I was having a physical dependence on ice, and it was kind of like a heroin addiction almost. Like I would always feel ill, and I couldn't sleep. You know, and that was one of the major drawbacks of heroin addiction, was you can't sleep. And it just kind of got really crazy, man. And you know, that was the lowest I've ever been in my life, and you know, I just didn't really care about anything. So I've still been, you know, getting high out here, and I fly a sign for money sometimes, and I get in the trash and see what I can find in the trash, and I've eaten out of the trash, eaten out of the trash, and just, just things that I would never think that I would have done before my addiction. And it's been really humbling, to say the least. Because I've been, in parts of life that I never thought that I would be in, around people that I never thought I'd be around. Being a homeless junkie. You get high how you can get high, and it's because you don't want to remember all the negativity that's going on in your life. So, yeah.
Are you high right now?
I was earlier. I just did. A buddy had given me some about an hour ago or so, and it didn't. It's not even really doing anything to me. My tolerances went through the roof, just ridiculous, really, because I haven't even been doing that much fentanyl. I mean, I would do it daily. Just recently I started doing it daily, and I don't do much in a day. I don't do it. There's no way I'll do $10 worth of fentanyl in a day, because it's just so potent, I mean, you can get high probably 10, 15 times off of $10 worth of dope. So yeah, I haven't really been doing much of it, but I definitely was getting sick off of the ice for sure, but now I'm getting sick off of the fentanyl. But yeah, I'm not high right now. I don't think I am. I mean, I would like to get high, but it's just been really hard to keep up with who's got the good drugs, and to keep money. I mean, sometimes I'll go out and I'll fly a sign, and I won't make nothing. I won't make $1. I'll be out there for 2-3 hours, and nobody will give me $1. And then some days it's ridiculous. Every 60 seconds somebody pulls up and gives you a little bit of money. I had somebody pull up one day and gave me $150. It was like my second day ever flying a sign, and it was just crazy to me. I mean, after that I was like, yeah, I'm flying a sign now. This is my new job. Yeah.
If you could wave a magic wand and turn your life into whatever you would want to do or have it, what would that look like?
Honestly, man, I just want to live a normal life. I mean, just to not get high, that would be, I'd be happy,
Are there moments of happiness at all for you now?
It's few and far between. It's, there is, I mean, yeah, there is. It's just hard to find, when you're out there and you're either dope sick or you're high and you're passing out, and you can't keep your eyes open, and yeah, it's few and far between, man. But there's still good people out there, and that's usually how I find my happiness is from, the good people.
You mentioned earlier that you found God in one of your rehabs. Do you still believe in God?
Absolutely. He's become realer than I ever wanted him to be honest with you. I kind of becoming an enemy of mine, to be honest with you. I get high and sometimes I hear voices and God's one of them. And he's a fucking asshole.
Do you think it's possible for you to find that normalcy that you were talking about, or is that just a sort of a unrealistic dream?
Right now, it's pretty much a pipe dream, man. I don't think I'm ever gonna. I don't think I'm ever gonna get sober again.
If it was offered to you, like if someone said, "I have a place for you to go to treatment," would you take that opportunity, or are you just not really ready yet?
I'm not sure, man. It's different on different days, Some days it's, I'm ready to go right then. Like, if I had a phone, I would call somebody and probably go to rehab right then, But as soon as I get a phone, it's stolen or I lose it or I tweak and take it apart. And I had a tablet this last time, and I literally had it for a night, and it was stolen while I was asleep. So, yeah, if it's different on different days, but most times if I had a phone, I probably would call somebody and tell them, like, I'm ready to go. I've went a couple of times recently, but I didn't make it very long. I didn't make it very long at all.
If before you finish this interview, a message that you wanted to put out there for someone who's never struggled with addiction that's watching this, or maybe kids that are growing up who might be experimenting with things that are out there nowadays, or just someone that maybe you care about that's going to watch this, what message would you leave us with?
Don't let God become an enemy of yours, because drugs they tend to twist things in your head and in your life. So stay on the up and up with God is what I would say, because when things started getting to be bad with him for me in my life, that's when things really got bad. So just trust in God, man, and don't let yourself become a person that you never saw yourself being, like in a negative way. But also be humble, man. Be humble, and if you see somebody out there struggling, try to give them help, man. If it's somebody that you know, or even if it's somebody that you don't know, lend a helping hand. Just try to be a good person.